I'm going to keep it yellow. Not going to mess with the colors of the stop. You could make it green, you could make it red, but yellow stands out if it's against the bars. So I'll keep that yellow, but I don't like the dots. What I like are these hash marks like this. And I'll show you what I mean. And I also like it to be a little wider, like maybe either 2 or 3 ticks. Let's try 2 ticks. Okay, that's the width. So you could just hit apply and see how that looks. You see how it gives you these dashes? And look how nice it is when it starts trailing, right? You could really see it in comparison to your signal line. All right, so I like that look. I'm going to do the same for the short trailer. So we're going to make it 2. The only thing I want to do is look at what 3 looks like. So let's go ahead and choose that, hit apply. Let's make it 3 thickness just to see how it looks and see if we like it more. Actually, that was the short one. Let's do the long one. Yeah, now we can see it's a little thicker. So that's how we can really follow our trailing stop. Okay, so I like that look. So I'm going to hit OK. Now this is your basic default template. It doesn't mean it's the best choice for a stock like Tesla, which is trading in the 450s, okay? Because the default setting gives you only a 2-tick breakout above the setup bar for the entry. That might be good for a $20 stock. It might be good for crude oil futures, but for a $450 stock, you may want a bigger breakout to get to that entry. All right, so we're not making a template for Tesla. We're just making a default starting point template that you can use over and over again and then configure it for its specific symbol if you choose to do so. Okay? You will have to go through the training of the strategy to learn the elements of what I'm talking about. When and why and how you might adjust your entries to be a larger breakout or your stops or your targets or whatever. Okay, that's going to come with practice and experience. But for now, we have a really nice template. We can go ahead and kind of see how that trailing stop, notice it gets long right here. The stop holds, and then it comes up and hits that first target. And then the trailer moves up and starts trailing the signal line all the way up until it stops out right here. Notice how perfect that target 3 was. And this is just default settings. Not bad. There's another long trade again. That takes us up to the most current bar. All right, so this is working nice. Coincidentally, it worked well on Tesla. But what we want to do is always be able to use this template anytime we want as a starting point. So what I want you to do next is right-click on your chart, go to Studies, Save Study Set, and we're going to save it as CPX2 Default, and we're going to call it SM for Standard Mode. And let's hit Save. And the reason why we're doing that is because now we're going to create a trend mode template, and it's quite easy. We're just going to install that last indicator. So we go to Edit, we go to Add Study, User Studies, User Defined, and then CPX2 MA. This is your trend mode indicator, all right? So we're going to put that on there, and now this is going to give us another way to use the strategy. It's a filter, and basically it says you only go long when the line is blue, you only go short when the line is red. Okay? So if there was a long trade here, you would not take it until it turned blue. And then you can go back and take it. You can get in sync with it. For example, this is a short trade. It never triggers in. Of course, there's only 2 ticks away from the setup bar. We just talked about that. But the point is that you'll easily see when the market's choppy, and you'll easily see when the market's trending. And like this is called trend mode. So talk about get in sync. Let's talk about getting in sync. Right here, you have a long trade, but the line is red. So if you're using trend mode, you do not take this trade until the line turns blue. So 1, 2, 3 days later, the line is blue. When the price comes back down, you can get into the trade. Of course, the trade works out great. But that's how you use trend mode. Here's a case where you would get short and it would just end up being a losing trade. It ultimately, you're going to stop and reverse from this short entry to this long entry. Okay? Again, we're only looking at default settings. Once you put more optimized settings on a specific symbol, like perhaps Tesla needs a $2 or $3 breakout before getting long or short, etc., it might make a difference and clean up some trades that are just too noisy. Okay, so you have that ability. But right now, I want to save one more template, and we're going to save it as, see, studies, save study set, CPX default SM. We're going to call this one TM, trend mode. So we have 2 templates. So now if we open up a chart, all we have to do is right click on the chart, go to studies, load study set, and I'm going to put the standard mode back on. So remember we set up a CPX2 trend mode and standard mode. So we have trend mode on. Let's go ahead and put the standard mode back on again. You see? There it is. If we want to put the trend mode on, we just go to studies, load study set, trend mode. There's trend mode. Easy. So when we make a trade plan or a particular configuration with our indicators for a specific symbol, we can go ahead and save the study set for whatever that is. Like we might have created something for Tesla. We can go to save study set CPX2 TSLA TM or SM. In other words, be organized with your study sets, your templates. Use this naming convention where you put a TM or an SM at the end so that you know if it's trend mode or standard mode, and you load the proper configuration for the chart you're interested in. And when you learn how to create trade plans, this will make more sense to you. But let's just say that we're interested in, we'll leave it on trend mode for now, but let's say we want to have a bigger breakout for our entries. 2 ticks is not enough, in other words. So we can double click on the target. We can go to entry offset ticks. Notice it says 2 ticks. Well, let's try $2. Okay, so that's going to be 200 ticks. Remember, for stocks, 1 tick is 1 penny. So 200 is $2. Okay? I can go ahead and hit apply. And notice that the entry went up a little bit. Maybe it's not enough. Let's get dramatic and see how it looks if we go, I don't know, let's go $8. Just so that you can see. I mean, $8 on a $450 stock. I mean, look at here, it's $600 stock. So let's just see what that does. I want you to watch right here where my mouse is and look at the entry and see what happens when I increase the entry offset ticks. Hit apply. See how it moved further up? That's asking for additional price action to be able to push through the setup bar a little further, $8 more before getting entered into the trade. Okay, that still might not be enough. I don't know. That's not the point. I wanted to show you how to do this. You could also do that with the stops. So you'll notice that the stop offset is also only 2 ticks. The stop is going to line up where your exhaustion dots are. Okay, that's the typical starting point for your stop, and it's 2 ticks below the lowest point of where your 3 exhaustion dots line up. Okay, you're going to have to watch the training to learn what makes Counter Punch work. Okay, that's not what this video is supposed to teach you. I'm going to assume you've watched those videos and you already understand the strategy. If not, then go watch those videos. That's why they're there. And another thing I'll say is that write your questions down in a notebook and bring them into the trade room where you can ask any question you want about how Counter Punch Xpress 2 works on your platform, whether it's Thinkorswim, MetaTrader, all of the above, Ninja, TradeStation. That's why we have the trade room. I'm not going to try to teach you with emails, but I do want you to take advantage of the trade room and get all your questions answered. All right? So that's a resource for you to learn this strategy. The videos are very clear. The training is very good. It covers everything. but you still might need clarification. You still might have questions. That's fine. Bring them into the trade room and ask. So let's look at the stops, okay? The stop, we're looking at this long setup where you have your exhaustion dots and then your first green bar that closes up over the signal line gives you the first setup bar. We've moved the entry $8 above, 800 ticks above the setup bar because it's the scaling of a $600 stock. All right, $8 again may not be enough.